What are the complex sentences in IELTS? They are a huge deal. These are required for you to get over a 7. Most people get stuck at 6.5, right? That is because they don't understand this concept. Now, a complex sentence is very simple to understand, actually. It is basically a sentence that is broken into two parts. That's it, okay? And I'm not saying by saying and or but by using special wordings that will break the sentence into two or more parts. Now, I have 5 examples here for you, and then a bonus one, which we'll talk about later. 5 examples only. I've had the mistake of teaching 10 plus, and people get confused and they don't use any in the exam correctly. Okay, so all you really need is 5 in IELTS writing. 2 go in task 1 and 3 only are needed in task 2. Not even 3, like 2 to 3 in task 2 are enough. So you just need 4, but we'll go over 5 and do a bonus example later too. So for example, if I say the word considering, let's say I start a sentence with considering. I'm going to say considering the lack of resources we have currently, comma, interplanetary exploration becomes essential. So you see I have 2 points here, considering this, comma, this. I have broken the sentence into 2 parts, and that makes it, guess what, a complex sentence. Simple, all right? Let's try another example. And actually, you know what, I'll say this, and then this, and this, because these 3 are very similar. So given that, rephrase the sentence, given that resources, especially non-renewable resources, are in limited supply, comma, we should focus on renewable energy a lot more. Based on the lack of resources we have currently on our energy resources, comma, we might expect a price increase in the use of oil, coal, and fuel. Okay, so you can see all these 3 complex sentences first of all explain a situation, like considering this is the case, given that this is the case, comma, and then the second part of the case. And that is basically a sentence broken into 2 parts, and examiners like that because it is complex. Okay, now when you say due to is the same thing like because, right? Or you could also say since, but due to is more less, I would say less common. And since is in the same boat, but I would prefer due to just because of how it's a little bit more unique than since. Now here again, you give a condition and then you give the second part of the condition. Due to our forests being cut down by construction workers and factories, comma, there needs to be an equal amount of afforestation efforts. All right, so again, you break the sentence into 2 parts. Now, we will come across an although situation. There are but sentences, something but, or however. So you can use although instead of saying however and but. And when you say although, you break a sentence into 2 opposite parts, right? Like although I am hungry, comma, I cannot eat much because I'm on a diet. In an IELTS letter, for example, if you're doing the general module, you would say, although I would love to invite you to the party, comma, our guest list is reaching its peak. All right, so you break the sentence into 2 parts. It's a good way to use the however clause by replacing that with something more complex like although. So this, guys, should be enough for you. Just make sure you do 2 in task 1 and 2 to 3 of these complex starting phrases and words in your task 2. And there are marks for this, so don't miss it. Okay, I'll give you a bonus one just in case you feel like this would fit more well with what you are writing. And if you want to add another one, be careful, don't add too many, okay? As I said, 2 in task 1, 2 to 3 in task 2. I hope you don't do more. But let's say you feel like this will fit better. This is while, and while can break into 2 parts too. You know, while Sarah was eating chocolate, comma, Mark was eating candy, right? So the thing here is I put interestingly. Not only is this a connector, it is also a ly. Examiners love ly, okay? So the more adverbs you use, quickly, slowly, gradually, the better. And this does 2 things. It does interestingly, puts a ly, and it connects as well. But it also adds a complex sentence right after. So this is a good one to have. If you can use this or any of these, you get great marks in writing. So please force yourself to include these and memorize these to get a great mark in IELTS writing and not be at a 6.5 like a lot of people unfortunately are. Thank you, everybody.